Hey everybody, this is Bowen Keller from Pure Investments coming at you with the next weekly cryptocurrency review. I'm sorry I haven't had one out in a while. Things have been busy for me in life, and you know, that happens. Cryptocurrency moves on, and so does life, and it's interesting that they happen at the same time. But without further ado, let's jump in. So, we're going to start off by looking at CoinMarketCap, my favorite thing to look at our recent... what's been happening? There has been some crazy market activity since I have last posted. Again, I'm really sorry guys for not posting. So before we even get into our first page, this is the page I always start on with our top 5, etc. We are actually going to go over to another feature in CoinMarketCap, Global Charts, which is under Tools, Global Charts. I would suggest that you guys check out all of these. They're very helpful. So this is the total market capitalization. It's really important to look at whenever you're reviewing a cryptocurrency at all. So if we look at all of the cryptocurrency capitalization up until 2017, we can see what the graph looks like. And I want to put this in perspective because of how the overall graph looked. If you see here, we hit a spike, we kind of trailed off for a bit, and this is indeed when Bitcoin trailed off too. Just kidding, Bitcoin always flies. No, so here we can see you have some volatility, but once you zoom out into 2017, especially right before 2018, you can see it looks like the market was unfallible, going infinitely high, and you can see that you can't even recognize that bump in kind of trailing off down here. There is the bump actually, I'm covering up, but right there, that's the bump, and you can't even see it. And when we zoom all the way out, you can see we see this new bump. And I've had a lot of people freaking out to me. What does this mean for cryptocurrencies? Is cryptocurrency market over? Is this the crash we've all been expecting? And possibly. Just kidding. This is another dip. And the thing is, dips happen. It's just a matter of perspective. So again, we're seeing this massive dip and we're all freaking out. But if we just kind of zoom in right here, there was a dip. Look at that. There was a dip. Look at that. These all have been big dips that we have to acknowledge. They happen, and it makes sense. It's a correction for the market. It's very healthy. If we were to zoom down and go to the logarithmic scale over here, which is really important to do whenever looking at any sort of long-term chart, you can see the growth has been pretty continuous. We went down a little bit here. And rose up, and we almost hit that, we almost hit that massive market cap that people were shooting for up at the top here, which was $1 trillion, which we never actually hit. We hit 730, which is still really good, and I'm still bullish in the market. Do we need a correction? Yes, and anyone who you look at knows that we need correction. When you look at this logarithmic scale again, there's barely even a dip. You can see it's happened before. I'm not worried. This happens. What's happening in Bitcoin? I'll get into that in a minute. First, let me zoom down and show you guys something that I think is really crucial to look at, which is the total market capitalization excluding Bitcoin. This is including Bitcoin. This is excluding it. The graphs, although I've messed with that one, but the graphs actually look identical, as hard as that is to believe. It is true that cryptocurrencies are unified, I would say. Cryptocurrencies grow and fall together, just like the stock market or the housing market. Things are jointed, things are connected. If you look here, our dips and our booms are at the exact same times relative to each other. And if we were to look down here, this is the third thing I want to show before we start off the video. This is percentage of total market capitalization dominance, which obviously has been held by Bitcoin for years, ever since cryptocurrencies first came out. Obviously, Bitcoin held the dominance then because it was the only cryptocurrency. But now we are seeing this change, this drop-off. And it's interesting, actually, when you see the change in the drop-off, because if you look at Bitcoin's price at this time right here, so what is this? June 2017. I will get into this graph in just a second. But June of 2017, here we are. You can see we're on the up and up. We have a slight dip up until just before August. But we're on the up and up. But even though that is the case, and here is again the up and up. Even though that's the case, we still saw this huge dip and all this fall that happened right here. Bitcoin was rising all the while. This just shows to me an excitement in cryptocurrencies overall. And you can see Bitcoin fell again here and kind of stagnated, and it's currently stagnating. Sorry if my computer's a little bit slow. This is just the way it is for me right now. But I selected Bitcoin. We should remove it. Yeah, you can see the rest of the dominance is held by some really interesting cryptocurrencies, and the spikes that happen, again, are really interesting. So right here we see huge amounts of Ripple. Then we see huge amounts of Ethereum coming out, and Ethereum, I think, is really taking over, which leads me, finally, into market cap. So, last weekly review I did, which I admit was 2 weeks ago. Again, I'm sorry about that, guys. Last weekly review I did, Ripple was trying to take over. And Ethereum was doing pretty well, and Bitcoin is at around 250 billion, if I remember correctly. Now we can see a lot of money has left these top 5 and has kind of been spread through the market, along with, as we saw before, a lot of money has been leaving the market. And this is really interesting to look at. So something we've been talking about at Pure on our Discord, you know, if you check out pureinvestments.org, join our Discord, you can check it out and follow us there, is that the flippening might be happening. The only reason Bitcoin is in first place is because Bitcoin is the face of cryptocurrencies. It is the first one and it is the best known. But the fact is, it is not a very good cryptocurrency. And Ethereum could easily take it over with faster transfer times, smart contracts, you name it, Ethereum's got it better than Bitcoin. Then again, that doesn't say much, because pretty much anything has it over Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not a good cryptocurrency. I'll say that again. Bitcoin is not a good cryptocurrency. And for anybody to come to me and then say Bitcoin Cash is, I would say you're wrong. Bitcoin Cash is a slightly modified Bitcoin that still is not a very good cryptocurrency. When you see cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Cardano, Neo, EOS, Dash, Monero, Lisk, I'm missing some, Zcash. But when you see cryptocurrencies like this coming out, Rayblocks, which is now Nano, you realize how rudimentary Bitcoin is, which makes sense. It's the first one, which also to me makes sense why we are now going to jump into our top 5 review. Bitcoin has been falling, and I am sure everyone is wondering why. I know I am. But I'm going to talk about that today. So we have fallen from the very height 60%. To give you guys some numbers in non-cryptocurrency terms, the tulip bubble fell around 100%, but not quite. The housing market crash fell 70%. The stock crash, again, around 30, I think. For cryptocurrencies, a 60% fall is a lot, but it's not unheard of. Here's a 40% crash. Here's a 30% crash. So 30, then 40. Then 40. And our biggest one is 60. So a lot of people are really worried about this, and believe me guys, I get where you're coming from. I'm worried too. Again, I'll say it again. If I had trust in Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency, I would be very confident that it would come back and this was just a pullback. But the fact is, it has been falling and falling and falling. And we are at my last, so I'm also viewing this graph and log, if you're curious why my lines are matched up kind of strangely, or my graph looks oddly straight. Also, I matched these up in terms of timetables, so I'm just going to go through them really quickly once I have talked about this for a little bit. But essentially, Bitcoin has been falling a huge amount. This has caused a lot of fear. We are at my last support line, which is not even a very strong one. And the fact is, I think Bitcoin could see a fall down to who knows. But I think it's very true what Warren Buffett said about buy when people are scared and sell when people are greedy. Because the fact is, once the media starts sharing that Bitcoin's going to die, and once noob traders start saying Bitcoin's over, that's when the market is going to plummet. And when the market plummets, that means that things are going to be cheap, like Bitcoin. And when things are cheap, that means that institutional investors and other people with large sums of money are going to come in and buy it up, because buy when it's cheap and sell when it's expensive. That's the rule of trading. I hear of a lot of people who bought in this range and they're selling down here. And I get it, and I totally get it. I know one person who bought around 17,000, sold at around 12,000. Listen, good choice. Well, it actually went back up right after that to 17,000. But, you know, relatively good choice, because now you have more money to buy back in lower. At the same time, holding, we don't know how far this is going to go. And the fact is if it doesn't hold this line, which I don't expect it to, we really don't know how far it's going to fall. Am I worried? This has been a question I've been getting a lot. Well, to answer that question, I think we have to zoom out a bit farther back and look at Bitcoin as a whole. 2018, we see this fall off. 2017, let's go back there. Back in 2017, we saw a cap of $1,180 to a bottom. What is that? To a bottom of $700. 40% drop off. In 2016, we also saw a drop off. Strange, right? Not actually, but you guys are probably seeing where I'm coming from. We see drop offs at the start of every year. Why? Well, there's probably a really good reason. I will admit, I don't know what it is. But these drop-offs happen, and Bitcoin has had its ups and downs. And if you look at it in this sort of graph, you can really see the volatility of the upwards movement. While upwards, it changes, and it varies, and it dips. And this is our biggest dip so far. Do I have any doubt that Bitcoin will not come back? No. I think Bitcoin will come back. Will it come back to the 20,000 range? I don't know. Will it fall all the way down to the 1,000 range before it comes back? I don't know. This growth has been unsustainable. When we look at a not log chart, you can see how unsustainable the growth has been. This is a correction that makes sense. Some people are asking me, could we see it falling to 5,000? I say yes. I say it's possible. Could we see it fall to 1,000? Yes, I actually say it's possible. Am I causing FUD? I don't think so. I'm trying to share the most logical explanations I have with you guys. And it's been falling faster and faster. At the same time, I don't have the evidence pulled up right now, but we see huge accounts buying large sums of Bitcoin and storing them in wallets at each one of these bottoms of these dips. Whether or not they're just trying to make a quick profit as it turns around, or whether they believe in it truly and are going to turn around the market as whales, I don't know. We'll find out. Now let's talk about the flippening. Ethereum is a simply superior cryptocurrency to Bitcoin. Could it replace Bitcoin? Yes. What are Bitcoin's features? It is the face of cryptocurrency, 1, and 2, is what's used to exchange other altcoins. If Ethereum took over Bitcoin in price, or not even price, because that doesn't actually matter, but market capitalization, which we can see, we're no longer, not that we ever have been, but we're no longer far at all away from that. Look at that. That's only $60 billion. That's nothing. Well, it's something, but I think we could easily see Ethereum take over Bitcoin. If the market cap of Ethereum beats the market cap of Bitcoin, I predict Bitcoin will crash and Ethereum will rise a huge amount. I have no doubt that we could see Ethereum hit the sort of prices that Bitcoin was. I could see Ethereum at 5,000. I could see Ethereum higher. Why? Because Ethereum is better than Bitcoin. Is it the best cryptocurrency out there? No. It's not even that good for what it does. And again, in my opinion, it's not even that good for what it does. But it is so much better than Bitcoin at what it does. Next, we're going to look at our third market mover by a good margin. Ripple was in the $100-something billion range. Now it's down to 32. And we can see, again, this huge run-up and this huge fall back down. And, you know, I gotta say, guys, I've never been a big believer in Ripple. And the reason I have it kind of timed like this is because all of these are timed the same. I've never been a believer in Ripple. Ripple is not a cryptocurrency. It is a cloud-based fiat currency controlled by a corporation. If you want to use it, go ahead. If you're trying to invest in it, I wouldn't suggest it. Not that I'm giving you this is just my personal opinion. I can't give you professional financial advice. It's just my personal opinion. But Ripple is not a cryptocurrency, and if you're arguing that it is, you're wrong. It is a cloud-based fiat currency. The company at any time can pause the token exchange. And this was a huge run-up. Yes, it was unsustainable. Yes, I called it falling. Although, yes, I also called it falling right here. So I was wrong, I admit. But you can see the price has fallen. And that makes sense to me because Ripple was not meant to have this sort of growth. Ripple is meant to be a small exchange cryptocurrency. Will it drop out of top 5? I do not think it will. I think it'll stay, or I think it'll drop out of the top 5. I think it will stay in the top 10 though. Ripple is now being used, unlike many cryptocurrencies, which I think will give it a pretty good advantage until people realize what it actually is. Next up, Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash, you guys know my opinions on it. My opinion is Bitcoin Cash is a cash grab. They wanted to make money, so they made Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash, I don't think is a good currency, nor do I think it'll ever take off. I think Bitcoin Cash will die, and I think it'll die sooner than Bitcoin. That is my opinion. Do I have any technical analysis for it? Well, it's fallen less than other cryptocurrencies, which really does say something, you know. Its price is pretty tethered to Bitcoin, and you know, it is kind of at this bottom support line. Could we see upwards movement? Maybe. But I'm not even into doing technical analysis on Bitcoin Cash. That's how much I don't believe in it. Next is Cardano. One of the cryptocurrencies that I've been saying, you know, is one of the really good ones. It fundamentally works. It has meaning. It has value. There's a purpose to it, and that's what makes a cryptocurrency valuable. That's what makes anything valuable. By the way, if you've been part of Pure Investments, you would have gotten our. We had some signals. I wouldn't say that we told anybody to do anything, but we did suggest and say after this first rise, you know, Ripple is not done. We actually told people to buy. We told people that it might be a good place, and I actually did buy some around this area, and I sold up here. I know some people who held all the way up to here for huge percent gains. And in Cardano, you know, this again, we saw people buy around here and have them carry it up to here. And even though it's fallen, you know, if you bought here and you sold up here, that's 150. If you're still holding, that's still 60% gains, which I think is very, very good. And, you know, if you're looking at the stock market, then if you're coming from the stock market, welcome to the world of crypto and amazing returns and amazing losses, but mostly amazing returns. I think Cardano is on its way up. I think it's following Bitcoin right now because that's what it does, because right now it's traded on Bitcoin. And everything really is tethered to Bitcoin. But the fact is, Cardano's on its up and up. Next up is NEO. I want to talk about NEO because it's an excellent cryptocurrency that our founder, Zeke, has been a big believer in for a long time. And Zeke has owned some since it was dirt cheap. So he has made, you know, I don't know exactly when he bought it, but I do know, you know, just that is, let's just say that is 450% gains. Here's 800%. So what he made, I don't know. But I do know, NEO is an amazing cryptocurrency that we have been telling our premium members and our free members that it is one. Right now we're seeing it dip. That makes sense. Again, Bitcoin's dropping. All cryptocurrencies are tethered to Bitcoin, except for Ethereum right now is kind of trying to get away from that, but it's dropping. That makes sense. Do I think the cryptocurrency market will recover? Yes, it will. This happens. It's happened before. It'll happen again. You know, we can worry about it, and worrying about it makes sense, but once it gets happy, we can get the dopamine release and that rush. But keep in mind, guys, trade without emotion. Trading is trading. It is not meant to be your emotions, right? So NEO is a great cryptocurrency fundamentally. And if you look at a log graph, you can see it has had steady growth. Next up is ELF. ELF is something one of our senior analysts, Smith, signaled to be a excellent buy range for him down here. So we've already seen some pretty massive returns from that. And we are seeing it grow. Why do we believe in ELF? ELF, again, because it is a good cryptocurrency. Fundamentals are what matter. Technical analysis matters when looking at short-term profits and long-term. But what matters most is really fundamentals. I have friends who trade purely on fundamentals, and that works great for them because the fact is they're trading based off of what something is actually valued at, not just the small-term actions. They ignore this spike and this drop, and they just carry through and see that as a line up, a line down, line up, line down, line up, line down. If you look at it that way, looks like ELF is ready to go again. Could it drop farther? Sure. I mean, look at Bitcoin. We didn't think it would drop farther, or nobody thought it would drop farther, and then nobody thought it would drop farther, and then people gave up, and thought it would drop farther, and then it dropped farther. So what will happen at ELF? I don't know, but I think it's doing well. I think we're going to see another increase like we have up to a new price range. Next up is ARK. ARK is a cryptocurrency that I have been following ever since I very started trading, researching cryptocurrencies, anything. ARK was one of my just learning how to do TA cryptocurrencies, etc. And I have had this graph for months, 4 or 5 months, not sure exactly, but basically ARK went like this. It went up, down, up, down, up, down to the exact same point, dipped underneath, and this scared me, but I did pick up a good bag here, and let me tell you, I'm pretty happy that I picked up a good bag around there because, you know, I'm up, what, 100%, 200%, and could we see ARK grow? Yes, we can see ARK grow. ARK is a great toolchain crypto, and in terms of its short term, we're seeing it do the exact same pattern that all of the rest of these cryptocurrencies are doing. If you see, they all really have, excuse me, the very same pattern. This is going to be growth that's just going to continue, I think. So have we seen stagnation? Yes. ARK has not dropped, though, which is great, and I think it will continue to grow. Next, I want to talk about some amazing returns we got from some shitcoins. Shitcoin is a term, for those who don't know, for cryptocurrency that really has no inherent value. So, Dogecoin, which was built as a joke, surrounded by a meme of the Doge. For those of you who don't know what the meme is, go ahead and look it up, or don't. Anyway, Dogecoin has had a history of spiking and falling. That's what it does, because people pump it and then they dump it, and that is the history of Doge. That is its purpose. It has risen to cryptocurrency fame, making the news because of its hilarity, and risen to the news based off of the owner saying it was not meant to handle these kind of transactions, which it was not. To give you an idea of how bad Bitcoin is fundamentally, Dogecoin is a better coin than Bitcoin fundamentally. Everything about it. And no, I'm not kidding. I'm serious. But I want to talk about where I told our premium members that it is always a good buy to get Doge under 16 Satoshis. Under 16 Satoshis, we have never seen it dip below there. And so, you know, I was pretty happy. I had a bag, and I was doing short-term trading, and I felt like I was losing out on profit. But once it took off, man, let me tell you, I sold off after 5 times growth. I was very happy with that growth. My goodness. I didn't quite hit the 100 Satoshi mark, or in this case, the 113 Satoshi. I feel bad whoever bought up there. But I hit 500% growth, and man, it feels good. It's only $1,000, but it feels good. And shitcoins like this, depends on what you value in trading. But, this is a really good 5 times return for our members. RDD, even better than 5 times return. I remember I said, RDD is at 9 Satoshis. It can't get lower. And this was right at the bottom. And I was right. And it rose 1,700%. I ended up selling for 16 times gains, which felt so good to me, let me tell you guys. In trading shitcoins, it's basically a matter of not FOMOing, period, and knowing how low they're going to fall. Doge falls this low. Even if it falls to 1 Satoshi, well, you just lost pretty much all your money. But then if it goes up to 100, it doesn't matter. Because you end up making profit. RDD, this was at 1 Satoshi for a while. 1 to 2 to 3 Satoshis. If you had bought it then at, here we are at 2 Satoshis, you'd be at 10,000% gain. It's a matter of looking at prices and thinking, will this get pumped? Check out Doge if you want to see the shittiest of the shit cryptocurrencies. It's on Cryptopia. It is Doge Lite. Lastly, I want to clarify something. Shitcoins and not shitcoins. So Siacoin, RDD and Doge. Doge has no purpose, and it's known. RDD is not a good cryptocurrency, but it has a purpose, and the creators trying to make it sound like it has a purpose. I don't think it has a future. Siacoin, on the other hand, is cloud data storage. It has a purpose. And while it was a shitcoin at 50 Satoshis, just because of its value, people said it was a shitcoin, which again, another signal I said is Siacoin will not go below 50 Satoshis. I believe it firmly. You can see there's stagnation here. I picked up a bag at 51 Satoshis, and I sold for, I think I only sold for 8 times gains. But again, only 8 times gains, what am I saying? That's still amazing returns. You can see it's now correcting. All of these are correcting with Bitcoin, and they will all, in my opinion, continue to fall to their previous lows. This is what happens with cryptocurrencies. The difference is Shitcoin is not a shitcoin. I think once Shitcoin figures out their tech, I think they're really going to take off in a positive direction. Last thing I want to talk about in this weekly cryptocurrency review is a cryptocurrency I'm very bullish on and very excited to talk about, which is Lambda, or Tau. It's very new. It just came out. They don't have a roadmap released. They do have a white paper released, but you can see their graph has not been too good. Now, what does this graph look like? This graph looks like any other cryptocurrency that was released on a market that did not have its roadmap released yet. Because without a roadmap, a cryptocurrency cannot be expected to grow. In their white paper, they say what they want, but not what they have. And once they have the things that they say their white paper will have, they are going to take off. Lambda is an amazing cryptocurrency, and let me show you this image as to explain why. Comparing Lambda to its similar cryptocurrencies that the other incubator, let's just say, cryptocurrencies, smart chain, you guys know what I'm trying to say, smart contract cryptocurrencies, there we go. It is simply better. So in terms of decentralized applications, Lambda has it along with the rest of these. Ion does not. Interchain support, it has it. Most of these do. It's things like EOS, right? EOS right here does not have it at a $5 billion valuation, market cap valuation. Transactions per second, 10,000. That is a huge number of transactions per second. The only one that beats this is EOS with 10 times that amount, which is an amazing amount of transactions. But you also look at NEO, for example. NEO is above EOS right here, right? 6 billion. And it has 10 times less. This is now below this line is where Lambda shows its prowess. Free transactions. Wow. Free transactions is huge. Free transactions. Only this and Nano that I know of that are really exciting cryptocurrencies to me have free transactions. Nano being Ryblocks. Atomic swaps included. Yes. Atomic swaps built into Lambda. That is extremely important. Can you use it with any blockchain? Yes. The only other one we see is Dragon Chain, which is why Dragon Chain has been doing so well of late. Future-proofed. Yes. Wow. Again, exceptional. Python. Very common, easy to use, used by other ones. Includes developer tools with it. Yes, you can find it right on their website, lambda.io. And consensus is DPoS. So, this is, in my opinion, better than proof of work. Definitely better than proof of service. I think Lambda is going to explode. It's just a matter of how low it falls before it does. I'm very bullish on Lambda, and I will not be picking up a bag, and I do not own any yet. I will be picking up a bag once I see it either stagnate or I see a release that makes me really excited on the project. Or if they announce the roadmap release, pretty much anything. Lambda, I think, will grow like crazy. Thank you guys for watching this weekly cryptocurrency review. I'll have one out next week. For real this time. Check us out at Pure Investments, where I'm actively there. I will talk to you guys. Again, my name is Bowen Keller. There are other technical analysts ready at your disposal. Check us out at pureinvestments.org. Check us out on Reddit, on Twitter, on Facebook, on whatever we're there. Anyway, guys, have a great day and enjoy your trading.